Welcome back inside the Siegel Center, everybody. We're going to go ahead and unveil the starting five for John Richardson III in his first full season at ECSU. Our player to watch, Reggie Rayner, as well as two other players in double-figure scoring, Xavier Tubbs-Matthews, Michael Eads Jr. ECSU enters at 4-2, and now the starting five for the 5-2. VCU Rams coming off the win against Miami. A whole lot of guard talent. Feels fitting for a day to retire former point guard Joey Rodriguez jersey into the rafters. He's got a ton of guard talent to look at today.
Yeah, you know, it's an exciting game, I think, for both sides. Elizabeth City State playing up, get a game on TV as well. They're used to winning. They're 4-2. Not a bad start to the season. VCU coming off of mixed results, I'd say, in Charleston. I thought they played really well in stretches. But even for a mature team, they got to figure out how to close out close games because they're going to have a bunch of them in the A10 play this year.
Also want to introduce today's officiating crew: Jamel Spearman, Tim Kelly, and J.W. Lucas. Set at center stage, Furman juxtapose Rayner. VCU with the opening possession. Bill Russell just played 3 minutes against Miami. Wasn't necessarily the strongest of showings at Charleston for Russell. He's looking to get back on track. Takes the opening shot of the contest and drills it.
He must have heard you talking about him. That's taken with confidence right there.
Russell's been a good three-point shooter all year long. 46.4% entering today.
It's been such a big part of the start to this season. Played so well in those first 3 or 4 games.
It's a VCU team that last year, second most single-season three-point shots made. And it's been a strength for him this year. That's going to be a walk.
Yep.
First turnover of the day for ECSU.
Yeah, and yet, even with the three-point shooting, and they've got so much offensive talent, it's one of those things that really hasn't quite clicked this year, the three-point shooting. I think they've been outstanding defensively for the most part, but the three-point shooting is going to come. I mean, they're just too talented for it not to.
VCU's defense, about 17th in the country in points allowed and top 35 in opposing field goal percentage defense. Bamseal looking for his first three. Halfway down, then out. Rebound gathered by Tubbs-Matthews. 3 in transition. Left off the front of the iron by the Vikings. Shulga, stop, pops. Won't see it drop, but he will head to the line for 3 attempts.
Yeah, and any coach, anybody who's ever coached, hates to see a foul on the jump shooter. You want to fly at him and you want to get a hand up. That would have been a tough shot for Shulga to make. Stop and pop in transition, pulling up at the three-point line. There aren't a lot of guys that can make that shot.
And also early in the game,
yeah,
you got plenty of time to build back a 6-0 deficit.
Yep.
So Shulga to the line, looking to do just that. He's no good on the first. If you believe in the broadcaster jinx, I will own up to that one. Shulga's been a very good free throw shooter throughout his career. This year, 71.4% from the line. That
number's got to go up because he's got the ball in his hands down the stretch of games. And, you want your guy, he should be your closer. And that's an 80% guy right there, Max Shulga. He's been there for most of his college career.
1 for 3 trip. Offensive rebound, though, for VCU, and that was a point of concern. ECSU did win their last game, but give up 32 second chance points. This is a team you can't do that to.
No, and that's also one of the areas where VCU has to do better on the backboards. They were part of it was because Furman was in foul trouble. Their center was in foul trouble in Charleston a great deal of those 3 games. But VCU's got to be better around the basket as well.
Shulga with it in his hand. Over the 3 games, 20 points, 17, and then 18 against Miami.
Bully ball.
That's how he likes to play.
Yep.
There's a whistle on the play. It's going to go against VCU.
And so Christian Furman picks up a foul. We're a minute and a half into the game. One of the games down in Charleston, he played 6 minutes before he fouled out. And you think about it, he had 14 fouls in 3 games. He fouled out at 2 games. I mean, he's so critical to the cause. That's a giveaway foul right there. He's being boxed out. You want to just let him get that rebound. Let the Elizabeth City State player get that rebound.
And it's a VCU team with some promising players developing down low. Luke Bamboye has been awesome this year to watch, but he's still a freshman. Don't really want to lean on him. You really like to see Furman out there for 30-plus minutes a night if possible.
And you're right. Bamboye, he is talented. He's going to be very, very good once he fills out. But he's not quite ready for prime time, physically.
And then here's the other big, Jack Clark. He can be found all over the floor, but in a perfect world, VCU likes to have 4 out. 3 from Russell. Another foul on the shooter.
Man.
Is that bad? It's not good. Fortunate, though, for ECSU, it was just a 1-for-3 trip for Shulga.
That's like a repeat. Think about that, too. He's in the dead corner. You know, that's a difficult shot. Looked like he wasn't even flat to the rim. More really, like I said, in that dead corner. Russell's going to have to make a great shot to hit that.
First attempt of the day for Russell off the mark. VCU team that one of their main ways of getting W's last year, it was in their DNA, was getting to the free throw line. One of the best in the country doing just that. They had a good field goal percentage, or free throw percentage, I should say. This year, numbers are both down, percentage and attempts.
And these guys are all better shooters than they're shooting right now. And it's sometimes free throw shooting has a contagious nature to it. But that has to be rectified because you do have so much offensive talent out there.
You know, it's funny. We were talking to some of the coaches for VCU before the game, and they even mentioned that. They were like, I'm not exactly sure why that is, but feels like we're 5 to 10 percentage points across the board down.
And also, it's one of those things, TJ, where as a coach, you're not sure whether you want to harp on it or not, because the more you dwell on it, the more that seed is planted and it grows, you know? So you got to walk that line a bit.
How we're talking, you may think this is 6-0 Elizabeth City State. It's 6-0 VCU. Turnaround Jay, no good. Off the mark, coming off the hands of Jaquante Harris. Shot fake from Clark. He'll drive baseline, and it's going to be a walk. So as noted, VCU's coming off the win against Miami. Before that, though, losses, close losses, albeit, but overtime loss to Seton Hall, and then one possession loss to Nevada. And those two teams play a different style of basketball, I would say, than Miami. But ultimately, it was something we talked about last time you and I were on the call. It's a team that it's going to get tested down low the further and further we get into the season, and you really saw that with Seton Hall and Nevada.
Well, that's why the Charleston games were critical. You learn a lot about your club, and you learn a lot more about them after a loss than you do a win sometimes.
A couple of misses from Tubbs Matthew.
They have to play some cut and paste, you know, sometimes in the interior, try to figure out what combinations work.
Russell for three, indeed. Make it 9-0 VCU. Russell leads the way with 5. Make that 8.
Well, he's trying to get right himself. Didn't have a great 3 days in Charleston. That's a foul on Clark.
It's just the first to go against Clark, second against VCU as a team. We talked about the recent schedule for VCU. For Elizabeth City State, it was a really nice come-from-behind win against Clayton State University. They trailed at the half, turned around the field goal percentage from 43% all the way up to almost 54%. Also got to the free throw line a good bit, 18 attempts in just the second half. But as noted, 2 points of concern. They did win, but points off of turnovers allowed and second chance points. Those are two areas where the bigger that number gets for VCU, could be rough for ECSU.
Oh, no question about it. And, you know, this is a team that plays in a conference where really the focus all year long is on conference play. Right. There are 13 teams in the CIAA, and it's a very competitive conference, and there have been some really good athletes that have come from CIAA schools. You know, their whole trick is to get ready for January and February and March.
1-for-2 trip for Elizabeth City State University. Russell drives baseline, and he's going to be called for the walk. So it's our player to watch, Reggie Rayner, with the only point so far for the Vikings. He's coming off a game-high 27 in that road win. Certainly can fill it up. Shot 60% from the field this year. He's been efficient. Going to need him today.
Yeah, they've got some balance. You know, 4 guys in double figures, 36% from the three-point line for the season. So they can put some points on the board.
And for the Division II ranks, how about top 3 in the country defending the three-point line? If you're a Vikings fan, you'd like to see that carry over today. Russell, no good. Shulga.
Wow, point blank.
Rare miss from that close.
3 Ram players right underneath the basket for that offensive rebound.
Michael Eads Jr. working against Shulga. Tough step-back shot.
That is a tough shot. Good call there.
Bamasil in transition. On the other end, a much easier look.
I love to see Joe taking it into the paint. I just think sometimes he settles for a quick 3. Do that sometimes when you're as prolific as he is.
Couple passes, ball into the corner. Rayner off the mark. Furman ultimately squeezes it. The Siegel Center's about to get a little loud here. Next dead ball, we're going to get Zeb Jackson on the floor at home for the first time this year. Bamasil, almost a replay of a moment ago. That's going to send us to the under 16-minute media timeout. VCU in the driver's seat up 13-1 here on ESPN Plus and on Massive. Welcome back to Richmond, Virginia. It's TJ Wainer alongside former player and coach Chris Naki. A couple subs on for both sides for Elizabeth City State University. It'll include Cam Johnson as well as Jericho Williams. He's one of these three players for the Vikings that has seen a pretty solid uptick in minutes. How about this? First 3 minutes of the year for Williams, 8 minutes, 25, then 17. The last three, 33, 35, 33. Well, safe to say Coach Richardson's found someone he likes.
Yep, he's happy with him for sure. And a lot of times you get glue guys those kind of minutes when you realize that they're better players in a game situation maybe than they might be in practice.
The other two players that really fit that bill, Jaquante Harris and Xavier Tubbs-Matthews, both in the starting lineup today. For the Vikings, the subs for VCU include Zeb Jackson. You saw him defending on the perimeter. VCU garners the turnover, and that'll be the third of the ball game against ECSU.
Brandon Jennings into the game as well. You can't help but think that games like this are critical to the growth and development. You can't get a guy enough minutes in a situation like this. So he's able to get 20 or 25 minutes in this game. It's a huge lift for him.
First time seeing Michael Bell with the ball on the far side. Now back to Bamasil. He's got 4. Kicks it out. Here's the sophomore from England. Missing it all. Rebound for Williams.
Hey, short-armed that. And Bell's capable of making that 3-ball.
Here's a 3 for ECSU off the mark, coming off the hands of Johnson. Rebound Bamasil. Euro into the lane with a third step included.
Yeah, we've had a few walks in this game already. And Joe just trying to go coast to coast.
This is the VCU team that's played with the lead basically all but 10% of this year. Just 28 minutes they have trailed this year. And you do wonder, though, 13-1 against a Division II school. If you're Coach Odom, you'd like to see some of the sloppy, the turnovers, those things clean up. But as a former coach, did you ever feel sometimes concentration wane in games like this?
Oh, no question. It's human nature. But the trick in these games is not to play down to the level of the competition. You're trying to get better. You're trying to play against your potential and how good you can be as a group.
Nice bounce-back possession there.
And Ryan Odom's job is to tell these guys, hey, the bar is set high for you guys. I'm not going to accept anything less than that.
We were saying a lot of the same thing about the second half against Loyola, Maryland. There's going to be a foul called on the floor. Push goes against the Vikings. VCU maintains possession. But that second half against the Greyhounds, I mean, that's the bar. That's really where Coach Odom was trying to set it.
Yeah, and you know, the other thing is you have to respect the fact that, you know, the other teams are paid to play too. Sure. I mean, I don't mean that in a literal sense, although now I do.
Yeah.
But, you know, they're out there competing as well. So sometimes it's not just what you're doing, it's what the other guys are doing. You have to respect the opponent for sure.
This is a game to get some notoriety, to say the least. You surprised some people today with a good showing.
Oh, man, no kidding.
Here's the freshman Jennings, loses control, but stepping on the baseline for the Vikings, and possession stays with VCU. Back to your point about Jennings, just 10 seconds on the shot clock as it stands right now. Jennings is one of these freshmen that's uber talented, feels like he's ready to play. It just feels like a couple shots. If he can see 2 in a row fall, he's going to turn a corner.
I think you see that with a lot of freshmen, you know, guys who are kind of feeling their way. And as decorated as he was in high school and as great a career, this is such a different level. And it's so, you know, you're no longer the big guy on campus anymore, man. You're a freshman all over again, and, you know, occasionally have to carry the bags, seniors' bags. And but he's handled it really well. He plays with a maturity. You know, the guys seem to really like him out there as well. Appears to be a great teammate, and he's a willing passer for sure.
First point of the day for Zeb Jackson, the Michigan transfer. How about this? Last year, almost 92% free throw shooter. Now his 4th game played, first at home.
It's great to have him back, man. I mean, he's such an electric athlete, and he's, as we saw in Charleston, he is a loose ball magnet, and he just does so many things. You know, in the defensive pressure sets, he's all over the place.
And it's really set up this luxury for VCU. A player like Zeb Jackson does not come off many benches across the country.
No, and we need to talk a little bit about that, you know, where this is all going.
Sure, foul on the floor goes against the Rams.
You know, ideally you want a guy coming off your bench who gives you instant offense, and Zeb certainly did that in Charleston. You have the luxury of riches, right? If you're a VCU, right. You've got all these guards who can play, and I think you're destined to see a lot of 4-guard lineups for them. because they are big guards. Who starts and who's the sixth man is almost it's semantics, right? It doesn't really matter. I would think a guy like Joe Bamiso going back to the bench would be phenomenal for this group. I mean, he played off the bench all year last year.
And it's nothing negative about his play, but that type of spark plug.
I'm not dogging him at all. Joe is there's a foul up top.
Offensive foul, Bamboye, the guilty party.
Yep, but that's not on Bamboye. That is on Jennings. Went way too soon. You got to wait for that big guy to set up out there on that screen. But back to the point about the sixth man, there's no wrong answer.
Right.
You've got some options. You know Shulga's going to be out there play. Heck, Philip Russell could be a good sixth man as well.
That was when we talked about just that bulldog mentality to come off the bench. Whew, that could be a lot of fun as well.
Yep.
Speaking of Shulga, he's going to check back in next opportunity. Pull-up J from the high elbow is good from Cam Johnson. First two of the day for the junior from Charles City, Virginia. But more on Jennings. 4 of 21 shooting from the floor, 0 of 8 from 3. But you see the body type, you see the athleticism. He plays at this level already. Just a couple shots in a row, like we said. I think that confidence is going to go through the roof. Here's Fats Billups, another talented young player. Shot falls, so does the defender. Lead up to 13.
He gave him the okie doke. That is a nice move by Fats.
It's one of these young players who can shoot at a high clip and jump out of the building. We're going to say bobble possession, so not a carry there. Drive comes from Barry. Skip near side, shot left short. Off the hands of Thompson. And more on Zeb. When he first came to VCU, I mean, offensively, you could see his ability to shoot it, get to the cup like he does here. Normally finishes with that left hand from close quarters. Foul on the floor is going to go against the Vikings. But in the 2 years since his first year here at VCU, I mean, the defense he was already a good defender, but he took it to another level. And he took on last year this role of floor general that when he first came to Michigan wasn't really in his repertoire, but now he's one of these guys that ask him to do it, and he can get the job done.
Yeah, I mean, he's come a long way. He was recruited by John Beeline at Michigan.
Right.
I mean, that's been a while at this point in time, but I mean, he's certified. Everybody knows he's a great player. I think he's a great leader as well, and it's nice to have him back with this group. And you mentioned the free throw shooting. He, much like Max, is going to have the ball in his hands a lot down the stretch of games.
Shot fake from Fats Billups. Now defended by Rayner. Step back. Trey tickles the bottom of the net.
That is such a tough shot.
Fats Billups came today 1 for 9 from 3. Starts out his afternoon 1 for 1.
VCU's defensive metrics just getting better and better here in this game, right? I mean, as it is, they were fantastic coming in here.
Looking for Williams, ball still loose. Ultimately gathered by Billups, seemingly everywhere over the last 60 to 90 seconds. Fake from Jackson, lost it for a moment. Shulga fading away at the free throw line.
Wow. It's a party. It's officially a party.
You can tell VCU's offense is feeling good. A lot of these shots have come just 10 seconds or so into the shot clock, including that last possession.
They're getting to any spot they want to at this point in time.
Rams lead by 18. 3 from the top of the key. No good. Tough start shooting basketball today. How about 0 of 6 from beyond the arc for ECSU? 1 for 12 from the floor.
Well, 15-5 rebound advantage for VCU right now, too. So many things have to go right for you if you come in here in Elizabeth City State's position. You have to rebound. You have to keep control of the pace of this game. Can't turn it over.
First all-time meeting between these two teams. Williams with his first bucket of the ball game. Williams has scored in double figures in 4 of his 6 games this season. There, if you're ECSU, you're hoping it's a spark. And really, you build this comeback 1 possession at a time. Whistles on the play.
It's a double foul here, and Furman's going to have his second foul. Again, a second giveaway foul. It's a killer.
That's going to send us to the under-12 media timeout. We'll take a pause. VCU leads by 16 here on Masson and ESPN+. Welcome back inside the Siegel Center. There's a shot of the VCU huddle led by second-year head coach Ryan Odom. TJ Winger alongside Chris Nockey. And Chris, big opportunity today for Coach Odom. Things are looking good. A win today would be his 200th career win to just 122 losses. Things are looking good, like I said.
Yeah, I mean, he's gotten it done wherever he's been.
Totally.
He's been successful at every stop. This is just another stop on the road here, and hopefully he's here for a long time. I mean, I think he's become pretty popular in this town, and with the success of this team in the early going. And this is a good addition of VCU basketball here.
Fats Billups, 3-ball, no good. I think his popularity in Richmond really started when his UMBC team knocked off UVA. I think that got him some fans here in the 804.
That's a little street cred, right?
A little bit. Makes that press release, that sentence stands out, that's for sure. And, of course, learned from one of the best in Dave Odom.
Oh, yeah.
3-time conference coach of the year.
Oh, yeah. Dave is one of the great ambassadors of college basketball. He's fresh off of a trip to Maui. He's got a big hand in running that Maui Invitational.
And what a tournament it was this year. We've been spoiled by a lot of the in-season tournaments this year.
Oh, man. This whole week has been spectacular. Oh.
Bell fouled on his way to the cup. I mean, you look at some of the. I mean, Dayton taking down UConn, Colorado. Your alma mater taking down UConn. It was a bad week for UConn. We won't harp on it, Husky fans. But even Dayton battling with the UNC team. Yeah, I bet you will.
But end-to-end action and riveting ends to games. Just a lot of drama for November, for the early part of the season. And it's funny. Tomorrow the calendar turns, obviously December 1. And in just a month's time, VCU will have played their first conference game, and you got a lot to play for, even in games like this, where you're trying to get better, trying to make improvements, and develop your bench.
A couple of misses from Bell. Double screen action, top of the key. Long three-point shot, off the mark. Offense still scarce, just 3 Vikings into the scoring column so far for Elizabeth City State. Clark finds Russell. Foul on the floor before the shot.
Oh, I was floored Clark didn't pull the trigger on the three. A penetrating move by Shulga, and Clark relocated. He was in a good position to pull the trigger on that three.
And maybe that's just the last time you and I saw him in person, the kid couldn't miss.
Lights out.
9 of 11 from the floor.
I'll tell you what I think it is, TJ. I think it's Ryan Odom insisting to these guys after Charleston, we got to run offense.
Sure.
We got to make sure that ball moves. And I think this is a veteran guy in Clark who understands. There are lessons, in spite of how mature and how you got an older team out here. This is a team that can always get better down the stretch of games. And as I said during our open, I thought they just settled a lot for a lot of three-point looks.
And we talked about it at the top of the broadcast, too. It's about setting a bar. Even if that bar isn't necessarily directly correlated to today's action, it will be against Dayton, it will be against St. Louis, so on and so forth.
You can always set the bar for intensity, for effort, for focus, things like that. It doesn't mean you're always going to execute perfectly or play perfectly. Turnovers are part of every game.
Russ the line. And good on his second, the first player today into double figures. He's got 10 exactly. And a good bounce back. Again, Charleston wasn't necessarily his 3 best games of the season.
No, and he got in foul trouble, which sort of, he got taken out of the games mentally, I thought. He's such an emotional kid, and he thrives when he's riding high. I mean, he really thrives off of it, but conversely, for an older guy, he just gets a little low when he's not playing well or has fouls.
Barry looking for help. Has it in the form of Johnson. Tough shot. Off the mark. And ECSU now 0 of 7 from beyond the three-point line.
It might be time to put those threes in your back pocket.
Whistle. And we're starting to get a good amount of those. Last few minutes. Rams in the driver's seat. Up by 18. Shulga with a chance to extend it.
think these are free throws 13 and 14 for VCU. This is always a good sign. In 11-plus minutes of play, they will have shot 14 free throws. It's a good number.
They average 20 a game. Something tells me they might clear that number today.
They might clear that in the first half. They are relentless right now offensively.
Shulga goes 2 for 2 and has 5. Some full court pressure. Gotten to see that over the last couple of possessions. Nice drive from Johnson. Kick out. 3-ball from Barry. The first one the Vikings have been able to bury today.
There you go. It's got to feel good. Probability tells you they're going to hit one at some point.
Bamasil over to Clark. Skip pass. Far side is Shulga. The spin. Bucket. And the foul.
He's such a natural scorer. You know, he's got a nose for contact. He's big and strong. He carries guys with him to the hoop sometimes.
On the Max Shulga highlight film, I think that exact play makes up about 4 to 5 minutes of it.
It's on loop. It's on loop, yeah.
When I can say bucket before the ball is fully in, yeah, we've seen it once or twice.
This is when you want to finish this off. He's 3 for 5 from the free throw line. Great scorers like Max rarely leave crumbs at the free throw line, right? That's just easy money.
You noted it. It's a VCU team with a ton of experience. 5 players with 4 or more years played at the college level. And you see it on those players. It's like a Max Shulga. The demeanor is that of someone who been here, done that, knows what the job at the task is.
I think they also know the clock is ticking.
Sure.
You know, that's a nice take to the hoop right there. Shulga with another foul. But that's one of the reasons why I thought Zeb played so well in Charleston. You know, he'd been hurt and finally got back into the fray.
20-point VCU lead. We head to another media timeout. You're watching men's college basketball on ESPN Plus and Masson. 29-9 your score from the Siegel Center in the heart of downtown Richmond. It's TJ Winger alongside former player and coach Chris Nockey. Rams looking to improve to 4-0 at home. That's always been a big part of this VCU DNA. Playing at the Siegel Center. Hey, it's a mid-major school, yes, but there are not many home environments quite like this one.
Well, and Elizabeth City State is seeing that up close and personal. And, you know, I think people watch college basketball is such a popular game. Obviously, It's on TV every night on 20 different channels, and people love watching big-time college basketball. But there is a world that resides beneath that. Then, like Division II, Division III, it's the land of the bus ride and McDonald's for meals. You know, there's no training table, and you see a team like ECSU come in here and think about these guys are playing largely for the love of the game, you know, and you have to respect that. I love to see guys come in here, play hard, and, you know, be proud to wear the uniform. And while they're not playing particularly well, they're out here playing with a lot of effort.
And they're now under the leadership of John Richardson III. He took over as the interim after a 4-11 start last year for the Vikings. Ton of experience on the bench at Division I level, 16 years at ODU, 2 years at Virginia Tech. Good face to have leading that program. Zeb Jackson, effortless from that range.
And he is so athletic, cutting down that lane. He elevates, he's a mad dash to the hoop with great quickness. And then he just elevates over everybody.
Yeah, he's one of these players that the vertical seems to change. It's half an inch more of whatever he needs.
Yeah, he is elite athletically.
Clock stops, 7:04 to go in the first half. More free throws on the way. 8th foul of the half to go against VCU.
Zeb, you know, we mentioned Zeb playing for John Beeline, and I had a chance to meet and get to know John Beeline over the years, and interesting guy. Now he's in the pro game, but you know, his recruiting philosophy was solely, you know, he used to say, how do you get these guys? He said, first of all, I like smart guys and I like guys who can shoot. I can sort out the rest of it later. And boy, watching his teams play, they were so cerebral,
right,
and so well coached and taught, spacing at a premium for every Beeline team. And you know what? There you go.
Alley to the oop. Luke Bamboye.
It's a great pass.
Top shelf where Mama hides the cookies. You want to talk about kids who can jump. Bamboye. That vertical is insane.
That really is. He's got a great future ahead of him.
Kick ball.
Reset on the shot clock.
One last thought on Beeline, too. I've told him this to his face. He was way ahead of the curve in the way his teams played.
Right.
And I like every coach in America owes him a royalty check right now, because he was doing that at Canisius, back in the 80s, spreading the floor. He was here in town at Richmond, and he was, again, ahead of his time.
And now you look at modern basketball, college, NBA. Ideally, 5 guys on the floor who can spread it, shoot it from just about anywhere. Yeah. So someone's got to find John Beeline's crystal ball.
This one's going up.
Terrence Hill Jr., first time calling his name today. Freshman no good on his first attempt. In transition, here comes Barry. Lost control. And cedes possession of the VCU Rams.
I know Terrence was open over there in the corner. It is so hard to sit on that bench for 30, 35 minutes and come in and pull the trigger on a long three the first time you touch it. Well, that's, there's a great swing of the ball. This is a great alley-oop here, and gorgeous pass.
And how about Jack Clark? That's a stretch four. Talking about guys who are smart and can stretch the floor.
Great role player. Facilitator for a guy that big.
Guy with a ton of college experience, A-10 familiarity. Used to play at LaSalle. Then it was NC State, followed by Clemson. Bama Seal. Floater in the lane. Nothing but nylon.
Back to Jack Clark. Another turnover. Clark has patience, the word patience, tattooed vertically on his neck, and he plays with a great deal of patience.
And that's a commonality for a lot of these players. Zeb Jackson's not one to rush into a shot. Max Scholke,
whatever.
You
were talking about neck tattoos.
No, sorry. Okay. Not quite going to go that far. Okay. But even like a Max Scholke, whatever pace of play the game is, Max is on his own level. Bama Seal, catch and shoot. No good this time. Clark, great hustle.
Great hustle.
Kept it in, but it's Cam Johnson there grabbing the board for the Vikings. Pull-up jumper. Thompson. A nice finish in his first 2.
That is an athletic play. Catch, stop, and pop like that.
And that shot's got to feel good. Thompson scoreless in each of his last 2 games. So his first points since the Chowan game, back on the 16th of November. Clark, easy finish with the right hand.
Well, that's just good offense. Ball rotates from one side to the other. You get a high screen, and Clark finds himself with a wide-open layup.
5 minutes and counting in the first half of action. Rams looking to improve to 4-0 and give Coach Odom his 200th career win. Step back jumper. Johnson off back iron. Tipped by players from both sides. Ultimately a two-handed flush from Talon Manson, freshman from our nation's capital. His first 2 points. .21 difference. Hill Jr. lost it for a moment. And how about the grad student hitting the deck? Elizabeth City State, though, does come up with possession. Foul against Bama Seal. Fell for the shot fake.
That's going to hurt in the morning.
There's not a soft spot on this wood.
No.
Here it is one more time.
Joe got clipped there. Yeah, that's painful. It came down hard.
In Joe's defense, Barry is the one made 3-point shot so far today for ECSU. Subs, including the likes of Sterling Vaughn on for the Vikings, as well as Reggie Rayner returning to the hardwood. For VCU, Phil Russell back onto the court. First free throw attempt today for the redshirt freshman from Massachusetts. He's good on his first. Tied for a team best 4 points. ECSU 1-1 on the road so far this season, just 2-9 last year. That also feels like part of a step forward. Yes, this is a tough competition. This is a tough place to place, but if you can battle through 40 minutes here, you can do it against some of your in-conference foes. Nice finish down low from Bamboye.
And much like the rest of college basketball, there's a lot of parity in that conference, so nobody's very far from the top.
Christian Furman back on the court.
In games like this, you've got to learn your little lessons. Furman is back on the court, as you just mentioned, TJ, and he gave away 2 fouls. Two, needless, where he was almost immaterial to the play. So now, can he make it through the last 4:04 of this half? The game's not really in doubt, but can he make it through the last 4:04 without giving away a third?
Russell, shot no good. Rebound, Zeb Jackson. He'll line up the trifecta and knock it down. A sight for sore eyes here in Richmond, Virginia. Zeb Jackson, second player to, or getting close to that double-figure mark. He's now got 7. Step back, off the mark. Rebound, Clark. Now Clark tries his luck. 3-point shot, off the mark. No numbers advantage for the Vikings. Nice give and go far side. Open 3-point shot. Knocked down by Vaughn.
They play the right way, making the extra pass.
First 3-ball to fall this season for Vaughn. You talk about incremental progress. Really goes for both ways. Sometimes for ECSU, it's just a couple of these guys do see shots go down, and they can turn their season around, at least from a mental standpoint.
Oh, no question.
Turnover like from Jennings.
Kick ball.
Yeah, it looked like it could have definitely been called a kick. Whistle's going to be called. That's going to send Rayner to the free throw line. But first, we have the under 4 media timeout. VCU leads 42-20 from the Siegel Center. We'll step aside and come back with the conclusion of the first half. Welcome back out of the media timeout. TJ Wingert alongside Chris Naki. 22-point lead for the VCU Rams. And when you look down the stat sheet, all things green, 54% shooting from the floor. Maybe the 3-point percentage, you'd like to see it tick high, but it's over 30%. You're not going to cry about it at the same time. You've gotten to the free throw line, 15 attempts. You've gone 10 of 15. All in all, good day for the Rams offense.
Yeah, and rebounding is a healthy advantage as well. So it's you want to make sure you start this game with intensity and, emphatically. I thought Philip Russell got him off to a great start in the early couple of minutes. He got to double figures in a flash.
Also, we've had a couple of extracurricular activities that have really brought up the energy. One, you have a jersey retirement pregame, which, again, more of that coming in the second half. That's going to be a blast. And then how about the pep band following up on their performance, getting shared across social media over the Charleston Classic, playing Kendrick Lamar's TV off? Electric. And then, of course, you get the kid nailing a half-court shot during one of the media timeouts. Are you kidding me? This is the second time this year we've seen it.
And that means free pizza for everybody in here, right? I mean, that's a big deal.
Like you said, pizza on scholarship doesn't get better than that.
It does not.
So shout out to that kid. I need his autograph.
Yeah, we also need those coupons.
Today he plays hero for the 804. Fats Billups lost control. Able to get it back? Ultimately, VCU, though, will turn it out.
That's a disjointed possession right there. And it's coming out of a media timeout. So, you spend your time out telling it, okay, when we get this rebound or we inbound the ball, we're going to run, this set. And you walk it up and you do that. That's, that'll leave you, that's a Malox moment for you.
Something tells me there's going to be more practice reps on that one. 2.5 minutes to go in the first half. Rayner to the cup. No good. Clark grabs a miss. Rayner now 0 for 3 from the floor. Vikings generate a turnover.
Gotta clean this up. You want to close out the half like you started the half.
Now 8 turnovers for VCU. Long 2.
That's tough.
Off the side of the iron. Offensive rebound. Just the third of the game for the Vikings. Another tough shot, but a nice finish. Michael Leeds Jr. Shades of the late Mamba.
That is tough. Got to win up the ladder. That is a difficult shot. Off of 1 foot, step back.
Less than 100 seconds in the first half. Skip pass. Russell leads the way for VCU with 10, make it 12.
He's nailed a bunch of threes, and he forces the defender to have to close out hard on him, and Russell just lightning going to the basket.
3-point shots, no good. Yeah, Russell, it's shades of Chris Collins. We're talking about the Eagles offense. Layups and threes. It's been that type of day for Phil Russell. Bamesteele out to Clark. Catch and shoot, no good. Long rebound, still loose. Furman gathers. It's a tough VCU offense to defend for 30 seconds, let alone when they get the offensive rebound and get another crack at it.
Hard to sustain this, right.
Bamesteele drives. Trying to dump it off to Furman. Foul on the floor first.
Might have gotten away with a little bit of a carry. You don't see it that much. Back to that step-back move that we saw. One of the great NBA players of all time, Bobby Dandridge, played for the Bullets, world champion Bullets at the time, Milwaukee Bucks with the then Lou Alcindor. He came from the CIAA. He played at Norfolk State, and he's a great player, probably one of the 4 or 5 best players in the history of that conference. Earl the Pearl Monroe, probably the single best player in the history of the CIAA. Hall of Famer.
Not the CIAA, but another Division II player, Jerome Kersey, came from Longwood. Long-time career.
There are players everywhere.
Absolutely.
You have to respect. You're going to find ballers out there.
Teams exchange turnovers. Results. And the easiest 2 of the day for Reggie Rayner.
I think that's turnover number 9 for VCU now.
And before that media timeout, they had 6. So we've had 3 since that last break.
They got 9 turnovers, but they've still scored 46.
Shot clock's turned off here. 14 ticks left in the first half. Russell hoists it up, and it's been that type of day. Give him a game-high 15. What a way to end the first half of action. It's been VCU from start to finish. Rams lead by 23. We'll take a pause and come back with the halftime show here on Masson and ESPN+. Welcome back to the Siegel Center. We are moments away from getting the second half underway. It's TJ Winger alongside former player and coach Chris Nockey. We'll have a surprise guest here after the next media timeout. Going to be a fun second half of action. Rams in the driver's seat leading by 23, and there you see Phil Russell. He got the offense going for VCU, and fittingly enough, made the 3 to end the first half of action. Been a great day for him offensively.
Yeah, he got him going early, as you said. If you're Ryan Odom, you go into halftime, you're up 23 points. There's still some things that you can insist upon. 9 turnovers in the first half against a team that really didn't pick you up in terms of full court pressure. That's too many. You can tighten up that. You can tighten up a few things defensively, and I'm sure they will do that.
Well, it's Vikings with the opening possession. Shot just 29% from the floor in the first half, 18% from 3. Fading away, shot no good, coming off the hands of Eads. Offensive rebound, then sent out of play. And the Rams will get their first possession of the second half.
That's tough possession for ECSU. You work so hard to get a second shot opportunity. They're getting drubbed on the backboards, yet you still come up with an offensive rebound, only to dribble it off your knee and out of bounds.
Nearly able to generate a turnover. Results in an open look for Russell. 3 from the corner. That's how he opened today's scoring in the first half. This time no good. Wasting no time. Tough shot. Floater over a couple defenders. No good. The offensive rebound then grabbed by Williams. Up and under. Off the bottom side of the rim. Russell with a fastball to Furman. My hands hurt watching it.
Heat on that pass. And turnover on the ensuing inbounds play. And if you're firm, Furman, really what you need to do for this team is catch and score layups. It sounds simple. Big man in transition like that, a lot of guys can't make that catch and finish.
And you saw after that play, Russell putting up the binoculars, telling Furman, I see you. And Furman's an athletic big. I mean, with how much guard talent this team has, for a guy like that to be able to run the floor, this team in transition's a force.
But that's also why I was saying that in the first half about his foul trouble. He's absolutely essential to the cause. And when he's on the bench, they're not the same team defensively. So he has to keep himself on the floor. We talked about the little things that you learn, even if you're up 23, 25 points. We talked about Hill Jr. pulling the trigger the first time into the game on a long three, first catch of the game. Firm's the same way. He has to be on the floor for this team.
The theory of 1% each day. Just that 1% better across the board.
Life is about little victories.
Right.
Can't
win them all. Count the ones you do. Shulga goes 1 for 2. He sits at 9 points on the day. I beg your pardon, it was 2 for 2. Yep. Stats haven't updated. It's murky waters there. You're like waiting to see, did that go through? Tipped out of play. Vikings maintain possession. But now 2 players for VCU into double figures. Russell with 15, Shulga with 10. Leading the way on the other side for the Vikings is our player to watch, Reggie Rayner. He's got 6.
Furman just knocked that ball out of bounds. And one of the things defensively, one of the things where I think he's really good at, not so much as the primary defender, I think he's a terrific help defender.
Acrobatic attempt from Rayner. This is the iron. Clark grabs the miss. Russell looking for help. Has it in the form of Clark for 3. Not this time. Shulga offensive rebound, and he'll head to the line for 2 more attempts. We'll talk more about Furman. It's right around this time of the year, 2 years ago, Jameer Watkins, Jalen Deloach, they go from good players to really solid to guys who eventually transfer to other Power 5 schools. And then right around last year, it's Deloach taking it to another level, and it's Toby Lawal finding that next gear. It feels like this time of year, the bigs start to figure it out for VCU, and if you're a Rams fan, you're hoping history repeats itself.
Yeah, some of that improvement comes with, a lot of playing time.
Sure.
And I thought Furman did a pretty good job last year operating in the shadows of the kangaroo that is Toby Lawal.
Now Virginia Tech, Hokie, yeah.
Yep.
Springy, to say the least.
Oh, my goodness.
And doing it all at like 6'10", 6'11". Just not fair. Said by the 6'0", 100-0 kid, but I'm not selfish. I'm not jealous. Don't worry about it. Whistle on the play. Now free throws coming for Elizabeth City State. It'll be Jaquante Harris stepping to the line for the first time today. Well, I won't hold the suspense much longer. After our next media timeout, we're going to be joined by the newest Hall of Famer for the VCU Rams. Joey Rodriguez just had his jersey retired into the rafters. A huge part of that 2011 Final Four team. They even just played a message from some of the coaches of the last few years for VCU. And Shaka Smart comes on the screen, and Siegel Center loses it. It tells you how much that 2011 squad means to this city, this program, the whole 9 yards.
It's legendary. And Joey was a legendary leader on that team, and that is that's the kind of thing that people will remember for the rest of their lives.
And not even people from Richmond. I mean, that's one of the Cinderella teams that everyone points to in March, and they're like, well, they could be this year's VCU. Give it go for Russell Furman. Cross from Russell. Ultimately backs it out. Now it's Shulga driving baseline. Dump off Furman. And fouled on his way up. Rams getting to the free throw line early and often here in the second half.
We're talking about catching and scoring layups now. Furman's in a situation want to catch and make free throws. These should be easy points. He's a much improved free throw shooter himself. Last year I thought he really struggled. He had some kind of structural issues in terms of how he held the ball shooting free throws.
Hasn't taken any shots from the line today. Knocks through his first. That makes him 3 for 6 on the year, but that's almost the other point. Someone that big, got to find yourself at the line a little bit more often.
Well, you do, but again, he's found himself on the pine more than the line, and so you got to make sometimes your best attribute is availability, right? It's important that he be able to play out there.
And he had those 2 early fouls, none since. Leaner at the line, knocked through by Eads Jr. Senior from Orlando, Florida, CIAA preseason all-conference team, one of 2 for this Vikings, the other being Xavier Tubbs-Matthews. Shulga comes down hard. Referees step in to try to separate players, as does Coach Odom.
Philip Russell really upset with that play. Boy.
Looks like the foul's going to go against Michael Eads Jr.
See what they make. I'm going to have to look at this replay to see if There was actually a play on the ball, and we'll get a good look at it here. Well, Sugar driving baseline, man, he hit the ground hard.
It's always one of those plays, makes you hold your breath.
I think everybody in this building felt that.
Well, if the Boo Birds are any indication, I would echo that sentiment.
Yeah, I mean, you have to go look at this, right? I mean, it was just such a hellacious fall.
And it is now officially under review. Second foul to go against Eads Jr. And really, the scary part of it, of course, the contact, but it's really just the head hitting the floor there. You really see the growth of the knowledge and awareness and presence of mind around concussions and mental, injuries that come with it. It's
on that
scary.
Replay, I mean, it's a terrible fall.
Yeah, it's going to be a flagrant two.
Flagrant two.
That will end the day for Michael Eads Jr.
That's a big, strong guy there, too.
Yeah, Eads Jr.'s been a tough shot taker and a tough shot maker today for the Vikings, whose offense has been few and far between, frankly. Shoga back up on his feet. That's a good sign.
Max may be going to the locker room to shake the cobwebs out a little bit.
Shoga with 12 points, 8 of 10 from the free throw line. He's got double digits. Wouldn't surprise me ultimately if this is maybe where his day ends.
Yeah, and he's actually not going to the locker rooms down at the end of the bench, and he's getting looked at down there. It's just a heck of a spill. This is the kind of thing where in another sport you'd be in the blue tent, right?
Right, exactly.
No question. And you know what? It didn't take long for the officials to make that call either. They went over there. 2 officials looked at it. They called the third one in, and it was less than a minute. Call made with a decisive kind of finality to it.
And that almost speaks volumes in and of itself.
Yeah.
Still some conversations being had on the far side scores table.
I wonder, too, if they make that call, and you don't want things to escalate. It's a 26-point game.
Right.
Maybe to err on that side is the right way to handle it anyways.
I think the last few discussions were making sure shot, game clock, they're in the right spot. 17, 16, 21 seconds respectively. Bama still good on his first free throw attempt. And look now, this will be the 24th attempt from the line today for VCU. It's no good. Game of the day averaging 20. We figured today would be a day where they surpass that. That they have.
That kind of is befuddling to me whenever I see Joe miss multiple free throws. He's such a great shooter, form-wise, and such a natural scorer.
3 for 4 from the line today, but 60% of the season coming in today.
60%.
Russell lines it up and knocks it down. I don't have to be near Phil to understand what probably being said there.
Yeah. And Phil is fired up.
Got a game high 18. Rams have doubled up the Vikings. 3-point shot no good. That's been a woe all day long for the Vikings. 2 of 12 now from beyond the arc. Russell looking for 3 more. No good this time. Heat check.
Heat check. Philip Russell has the blue light. It's way past the green light.
Nice shot there from Harris. His first make from the floor. He's got 4 points on the evening. Bamasil, step back. Not this time. Clark with an offensive rebound. 7th on the day for the Rams. No second chance points come of it. Players down on the hardwood for both sides. Alternating possession. It's going to stay with VCU.
Yeah. So you talk about playing, this is like the 3rd or 4th possession of this possession. Tough to play defense that long.
We're going to step aside. VCU in control, leading by 28 here on Massive and ESPN+. Welcome back inside the Siegel Center. VCU out in front by 28. TJ Winger alongside Chris Naki here courtside. A win today would mark the 200th in the career for Coach Ryan Odom and also make the Rams 4-0 at home this season. And the Rams have possession coming out of the break. Inbound pass. Furman. Tough shot. Able to get his miss and then fouled on the second chance opportunity. That's Derico Williams, too. That's going to be his 5th foul.
Well, the rebound numbers continue to expand in VCU's direction. 32-18 right now.
Excuse me. They announced the scores table. That was his 4th. I'm seeing live stats at 5. So somewhere there might have been some mishap. But,
oops.
Like I said, Williams is going to stay in the game. But certainly something to monitor the rest of the way. But now we'll check out.
That foul shot rolls out, but that's a soft touch for the big guy. That thing was halfway down.
Furman second. Off front iron. Good hustle from Brandon Jennings.
Yes,
keeps
sir.
it in. Goes from an empty possession for VCU to, well, their 3rd opportunity this possession. They continue to try to feed the big man. Furman, another offensive rebound and eventually able to sink it through.
We got another player down here.
That looks to be Reggie Rayner.
Again, we've seen 3 guys now hit the floor here hard.
So clock stops 15:38 in regulation. Good news, Rayner.
Yeah.
Waving off his coach, John Richardson III, saying, I'm okay.
And once a coach goes out there, he's got to come off the floor.
It's one of those things. Once you hear the contact with the hardwood, everyone in the arena, no matter what team, everyone, collective, deep breath.
Good minutes here for Michael Bell. You know, I always see him as kind of an X factor for this team. And if you're going to have foul trouble, Furman's going to be in foul trouble. Michael Bell's one of those guys you may be able to steal minutes at the 5, just rotating him and Clark in the interior.
As a freshman, he saw a ton of playing time last year, was a routine member of the starting 5. Nice make through traffic from Tubbs Matthews.
Yeah, he runs like a deer. He's got it, he scores around the basket, scores on the break.
Jackson drives. He's got 9. Now, Zeb nearly poking it away. Double team from the Rams. Johnson able to get it away. Tubbs Matthews, far side. Drive. Shot won't fall, but he'll head to the line for 2. Been a good free throw shooter this season, 77.3%. Today, getting his first 2 from the charity stripe.
He's a little bit over anxious out there on the perimeter. And once that offensive player gets you on his hip, you are pretty much powerless.
30-point difference. A couple of interesting games on the horizon for VCU. Georgia Southern, then back at home against Penn. Don't overlook Colorado State, overtime winner today against TCU. Take on New Mexico and the Lobos on the road.
Yeah, I tell you what, 2 games at Colorado State in Vegas. That guy, Nico Medved's a terrific coach, NCAA tournament team last year. And then you go to the Pit in Albuquerque, which is traditionally a really tough place to win as a road team.
And just under a month from now is Jackson. Knocks down the trifecta. Second 3-ball to fall. But December 22nd, going to be a fun one here at Siegel Center.
Yep.
Rams take on William & Mary.
Neighborhood game.
Yep, Breonte Weber will have his jersey retired. You get an in-Commonwealth battle, plus another jersey put up in the rafters. Make for a fun Saturday afternoon. Russell, no good. Furman, Jackson, Bell. The offense has been searchable, to say the least.
Nice little dish by Zeb. He had the open 3. Selfless play.
Second assist on the ball game for Jackson. Drive, shot denied by Furman. One of the best in the A-10 at doing just that. Stops the clock with less than 14 in regulation.
That's a good stretch of minutes for Christian Furman.
And how about this? Didn't pick up a single foul while on the floor.
Well, it might be due to the fact that the officials came over and talked to us about running clock here in the second half. But
they were telling they got a reservation.
They got a reservation to get to.
All jokes, of course, but today's officials they've been forced to be active. They've had to step in a couple times. Ultimately, done a really good job.
I would think this is a harder game to officiate than a close one, than one that goes right down to the wire.
Quick pass. And sent back out. Here's Thompson near side. Looking to get away from Russell. He extends the arm. That's going to be an offensive foul.
Well, anytime you extend that forearm, you're going to get whistled.
And it's obvious when the play-by-play guy can see it.
And he's also got the gnat that is Philip Russell defending him. And don't think for a second that's not a part of this, too. Philip's not opposed to jawing a little bit out there.
Brandon Jennings down low. Misses it all. Gets his miss. Trying to find Bamboye. Instead turns it over. Vikings run in transition. Michael Bell says not today. 4-on-1 the other way. Alley up to Bell, and he just couldn't squeeze it.
Wow, Zeb didn't put enough air underneath that. You want to get that up to the rim. It looked like caught Bell around chest high.
This ceiling was ready to explode off the Siegel Center there. A rejection followed by an alley. Instead, Terrence Hill Jr. checks on as Phil Russell will sub out for Coach Odom.
That was more of an alley oops, right?
Well played. Well played. Pull-up jumper. Misses it all. 13 minutes and counting. Jackson in control. The maestro of the offense for a majority of last year. Kick out Jennings. Knocks it down. His first three-point shot as a Division I basketball player.
Well, that's got to feel good for him.
Rams generate the turnover. Bell to the cup. Now it can be a timeout called by John Richardson III. First coach's timeout of the second half brings us to a media. VCU in the driver's seat, leading 74-38 on Masson and ESPN+. Rams just counting down the time before they rise to 6-2. Coach Odom, this will serve as win number 200 in his career. Now 11 seasons as a head coach. Just his second here in Richmond. Simply put, it's been a dominant showing for VCU. This is the type of game you wanted to see. Yes, it's D1 versus D2, but this is the showing that you wanted to see in this battle.
He came out with great effort, focus, and it was a 15-2, I think, early on, and they got it going offensively. Defense has been stifling from the get-go. Continues to be, and they continue to pick up full court.
We got to talk to Coach Odom. Ultimately, it was a win against Loyola Maryland. Because this one's going to be a backcourt. Oh, they're going to say tipped away. Oh, there it is. There's the backcourt. It went off his foot.
Well,
conversations.
Tim Kelly's going to come in.
This is what I get. I shouldn't have stepped in. This is not my not my circus. But if you're asking the amateur.
Okay. They did overturn it. But
that's why you don't ask the amateur.
I actually think they got this one wrong. But you know what? It's hard to complain when it's a 36-point game. VCU double teaming here in the backcourt.
That's going to be a foul against Jennings. To finish the point, though, it was the first half where VCU led by 6. Ultimately, the second half was ultimately what Coach Odom wanted. But he really wanted that, what we got in the second half, to be the first half. He got that today. And it's sometimes just showing your team, this is what we should do. This is what the first half needs to be like for us moving forward.
Well, you've got to schedule games at this time of the season every few days. Practice, these guys have been having at each other for a couple of months now.
Pass picked off, Bama Seal. Throw it down. Grad student from Chesterfield, Virginia, into double figures now.
And they called,
hanging on the rim
for Joe.
And the Boo Birds rain down from Siegel Center.
I never understood this technical foul because, they used to do it years ago when there weren't breakaway rims. And you could do damage to a basket without the breakaway rims. I mean, people don't come here to watch the guys in stripes make a call like that. They come here to be entertained, watch these guys hoop on both teams.
I would also add to that point, if you hang on the rim and a team scores and transitions the other way, I think the coach has plenty of discipline. No foul necessary.
Yeah.
Free throws there from Harris. He's got 6, tied for a team best right there with Reggie Rayner.
Well, Brandon Jennings working on D.
I mean, that length, you can't teach it. Screen far side. I mean, a foul looks to be against Hill Jr. That's going to send us to the under 12. VCU leads by 38 over the Vikings on ESPN Plus and Massey.
On the floor.
Welcome back to the Siegel Center, site of a 38-point lead for VCU over Elizabeth City State University. TJ Winger alongside former player and coach Chris Nocky, and it's time to unveil the Virginia Credit Union assist of the game. Somewhere Walker Bueller is smiling. The fastball. Furman on the finish. When you said Furman needs to catch and finish, I don't know if that's the catch you were necessarily imagining.
He caught a heater right there without a mitt, without a catcher's mitt.
Phil Russell or Josh Allen need the throw off now.
Good news, too. Max Schulga on that VCU bench, and I saw a couple of the officials walk over to him during that timeout, and they asked him if he was okay, and Max gave him both the thumbs up. Boy, he hit hard.
Do want to say thank you to Virginia Credit Union for that assist of the game and all their works to benefit Children's Hospital of Richmond at VCU. Rams going to stop. Jennings in transition. Hill with it, looking for his first points of the day. He's the lone Ram to not hit the scoring column, but has played today. Bama Seal far side. Rises up, leaves it short. Harris in transition, mid-range jumper is true.
It's hard to say this about a team that scored 40 points here, but they've hit some tough shots. It's a stop and pop from 16 in transition. Well, great move by Hill.
Hey, Terrence Hill Jr., welcome to the scoring column, young man. Every Ram to touch the floor has at least 2 points.
You feel like you teed that one up a little bit, TJ? You were just talking about the fact he hadn't marked in this game.
A couple of these guys have heard me today. Phil Russell not playing well. 3-ball.
Yeah.
Maybe the broadcaster jinx. Maybe there is something to this. I don't believe it. I can't jinx you if you don't hear me. That's a nice alley-oop and a good finish there from Rayner. He's got 8, tied for a team best. That being said, today, might have to buck that argument.
Yeah, maybe a little bit of karma involved there somehow, some way.
Approaching the midway point of this second half.
Oh, that is slick. Great ball handling. Consecutive possessions by Hill.
Personal foul charge number 21, Cam Johnson. That is his first. Team foul number 7 on the Vikings.
Should be noted, season high for points in a game. Quick research, 84. This year for VCU. I'd venture to say we set a new season high today.
I would say so. We want to win the rest of the way here, so we could be here a while.
Terrence Hill at the line, shooting 1 plus the bonus.
Hill to the line. First time seen him at the charity stripe today. Good on the first.
Sometimes the trick down the course of the season is to keep the younger guys engaged. You've got an older team, but guys like Hill Jr. and Brandon Jennings, you shorten your bench as the season goes along. Mm-hmm. And those guys are likely to be the odd man out in terms of minutes. That's not to say they won't play every game, but there will be some DNPs in their future. And so you have to keep the lines of communication open, and you have to understand, make sure that they understand what the situation is.
Contested shot, no good. Offensive rebound for ECSU. To that point, though, there's just no reps like game reps. This is an opportunity for those young guys to take it from practice 4 to game 4.
And that's why 2 games like this, they deserve a game like this where they can score. They could play 18 minutes or something like that, 18, 19 minutes.
That's what you've seen. Brendan Jennings, he's got 10. Hill Jr. a little behind. He's got 7 at this point, but Fats Billups we've seen throughout.
I would think Hill Jr. may very well finish this game out at this point in time. It's
Bamboye, 10 minutes.
Yep.
And also, not to go here, but transfer portal, modern basketball, guy doesn't see the floor a whole lot.
Oh, it
could be used against you as a reason to leave.
There is no question about that, and that speaks to what I was talking about, communication. You have to make sure that you're always, in this day and age, and you have to stay in touch. Not just in touch, but close. And
catch and shoot. Jackson for 3. Off back iron. Loose ball. Rams maintain possession.
TJ, I've always felt, and I've been around this game now for 40-plus years in college basketball, the biggest jump a player makes is between his freshman and sophomore year. You want to make sure you see that jump from guys like right on cue, Hill Jr., Brandon Jennings, Luke Bamboye. You want these guys around next year because they'll be completely different players next year, and they're going to be primary players for you next year with the departures of some of the guys who will be leaving.
3-ball moves Hill up to 7 on the afternoon. Or evening, I really should say. Skip pass near side. 3 balls up. Nothing but nylon for Thompson.
That's a pretty shot.
You can see, this is an ECSU team that's got some shooters. I mean, they're doing this without Michael Eads down the stretch, too. Obviously got the flagrant 2. He's been ejected. This is a team that, watch out. Get back to CIAA competition. Picked to finish 8th in the preseason poll. Wouldn't shock me if they finished a little higher.
8 out of 13, but again, they're like everybody else. Every conference out there, just all sorts of parity.
Fats Billups, no good. Bamboye climbing every rung of the ladder. Doesn't get the board, but wow. Now Bamboye back on defense. Just beyond the free throw line, runner no good. Put back chance, same fate.
Oh.
Terrence Hill Jr. He has earned 10 to 15 minutes.
He has a sweet handle. He gets the spots.
Here's going to draw the foul. Shove against Johnson. Turnover number 14 for the Vikings.
He's showing up here. Showing out. He is really attacking offensively.
It's safe to say, I mean, he's giving the patrons here, Siegel Center, a good show. Different move each time he's touched the ball. Been a lot of fun.
It's talented kid. His only crime is he's playing against, 23-year-old men.
And when you look at the 5 on the floor, other than Zeb Jackson, redshirt sophomores are younger. Hill looking for 3 more. He's got it. Double figures for the freshman from Portland, Oregon.
He is confident. You got it going right now.
Should be noted, 10 points. New career high. Terrence Hill Jr.
I love how hard VCU continues to play on the defensive end.
Shot clock's down to 5. Having to hoist up a shot is Thompson. It's no good. Bamboye forward. Jackson, you want to see someone else who's nifty. This one, some contact coming from behind. That'll send us to the under 8 media timeout. More the same, VCU leading by 41 now. You're watching men's college basketball on ESPN Plus, as well as Massive. VCU is in the driver's seat, 88 points. That's a new best on the season. Find themselves up by 41. It's TJ Winger alongside Chris Naki. 7:24 left in regulation. And really, the home faithful have had plenty to cheer. We haven't seen a whole lot of Max Scholga specifically since the hard fall on the floor. Haven't seen a lot of Phil Russell latter stages here the second half, but the young players brought a lot of energy, and it's been fun to watch.
Yeah, and I don't think you'll see any of those guys the rest of this game.
Right.
I would imagine you get Brandon Jennings back on the floor here for Zeb at some point in time. But again, Zeb's new to the flow also, because he had the injury. So you may see Zeb go maybe to the 6-minute mark, something like that. But Brandon Jennings is going to finish this thing out.
fun that you bring that up. I was just curious. Noted, other than Zab, everyone here is a redshirt sophomore or younger. But Zab, yeah, you've got minutes to catch up on for where we are this season.
And you know, because of the nature of the injury, he was able to. The good news is he was able to stay in cardiovascular shape. Right. You know, you can hit the bike, you can always run. Just getting back in the flow of things.
Catch, shoot, pull up, jumper falls for Williams. Got 7 points now. Vikings still looking for their first player to hit double digits. A couple of those players who could do it about to check in, including Reggie Rayner. Backdoor cut. Hill trying to thread the needle to Billups.
Yeah, there's nothing going on that side of the floor. Get that swung. Move it back over to the opposite side.
We talked about this a little bit in the first half, and well, I don't normally, you know, broadcaster James, we talked about that too. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself here, but VCU game today, they have only trailed for 28 minutes and 33 seconds this year. They've played 285 minutes this year. That's more or less 10%. Ridiculous, and that obviously is going to go down even more.
Yeah,
today.
And with that, you know, you as a coach, you probably think that you'd be better than 5-2. They're really just a couple minutes away from having an unblemished record, but you are what your record says you are. You know, in the famous words of Steve Spurrier, and I think that, you know, the point is you got to learn from what's happened to you. There's a lot of meat left on that bone, right? I mean, you got so many things to play for.
And then even the two losses. 3-point defeats, one in overtime. Seton Hill, Nevada, those are two good teams.
Could easily have won either one of those or both, for sure.
Jackson no good from 3. Rebound gathered by Rayner. His 7th of the contest. Foul on his way to the cup. That's going to be the 9th against VCU in the second half. So free throws on the way for Rayner. Chance for him to become the first double-digit scorer today for Elizabeth City State.
You know, the way it's just sort of borderline criminal that, you know, I mean, so a lot of these HBCU schools, these guarantee checks that come with a game like this are absolutely invaluable, what they can mean for an athletic department. And take a bus up here, you take a bus home, and you know, I think that if you're their program, that's a part of why you get a lot out of this, and not the least of which you play against good competition. It's going to make your team better. The players get a chance to play against good players. But, I mean, there's so many positives to it from their perspective to play this game.
Well, Chris Nocky, I think you got a silver ball of your own. Right around the 6-minute mark, Zeb Jackson out, Brandon Jennings in. To a T what you said just a few minutes ago.
Yeah, well, Zeb has done his damage, right? Oh, tough pass. You know, Bamboya wasn't able to come up with that little pocket pass right there. But that's what we were talking about. When Firm made that one catch, big men in transition, big men sometimes in traffic, that's a lost art. That's why that's the leap that Luke's going to have to make, is to be able to be a finisher around the basket. It's some of it's a function of strength. He's got a world of upside, but he's got a ways to go.
Elizabeth City State turns it over. Talking more about the Vikings, their upcoming schedule. So after today, if we talked about this is huge. I think, honestly, just this environment, playing on the road, this is going to put it into check when they go on the road elsewhere. And now all of a sudden those road games won't feel so daunting. Again, they went 2-9 away from their home confines last year. They'll return home next up against Barton College, and then a string of, 4 straight road games, including the conference opener at Shaw.
Yeah, and that conference, you know, some of those schools, they love their hoops programs. So you get to some of those gyms, and they're packed, rowdy, and fun.
Step back for Billups, off back iron. Rams get it back. No, but this does feel like good simulation for those types of environments. Great ball movement. Hill Jr. off the mark. Bamboye, another offensive rebound.
Oh, my.
Bamboye will try his luck. Oh. Hey, why not a third offensive rebound? Give and go. Let the big man go up top. Throw it down hard.
I like him better. I like the second shot better than the first. Sometimes there's a reason why you're open.
First three-point shot of the year for Bamboye.
They're going to have to repair that backboard. That's great. And I love the bench's reaction. They were up cheering all of that.
Bamboye doing it on both sides of the floor. Well, that's really the beauty of this. You see Christian Furman is going to check back in now.
And the reason is because Luke has his hands on his knees. He's exhausted. He'll go right back in after this media timeout that's coming up. But he is sucking wind over there.
But talking about the VCU bench, I mean, that's all the usual suspects, so to speak. All those bigs that we see, and those seniors, those grad students, nice finish, nice flush down low. But they're getting pumped up for the young guys getting this moment. And we talked earlier, I mean, these players know there's a ticking clock. There is eventually an end on the horizon, but just speaks to the program and I build you up, you build me up, that type of mentality that the Rams have built.
Well, there's a culture, and I think that's an overused word sometimes, but you know it when you see it, right? And you know it when you feel it, and there is a culture here.
Well, that's the word I was actually looking for, so it may be overused, but I couldn't find it. Lining up the three is Bell. No good. Clock continues to roll, less than 4 to go. Finish in transition. Rayner, now with 11.
I think Ryan Odom would love to get this media timeout coming up here so he can get Furman out of this game.
There'll be a couple subs for ECSU as well. Jennings, no good from 3. In transition, missing the bunny is Harris. Vikings still with possession. Defenders swarm against Manson. And ultimately, the Vikings do knock it through from C.J. McCord.
Well, even with that flurry of rebounds, it's 47-31 on the glass.
Ten seconds on the shot clock. Bell in isolation. Hop step, trying to dump it off for Furman. VCU turns it over for the 14th time today. That'll send us to that under 4 media timeout. 2:32 left in regulation. VCU eyeing career win number 200 for their head coach, Ryan Odom. Welcome back to the Siegel Center here for the final stanza. And how about this? It's been points galore for this VCU team, and the bench has done their part. A little bit of a Chico with Zeb Jackson. Again, not many benches that he's coming off of across the country, but Terrence Hill Jr., Fast Phelps, the young guys have been a big part of it too.
44-24 advantage off the bench for the Rams. And the guys have come in ready to play, ready to shoot, ready to score. And they've done each of those things. So you have Bell and Jennings out there, Hill Jr., Furman stays, and Fats Phillips.
I mean, to speak to how deep the scoring is today, Rams have played 11. All 11 have at least 2 points. Actually, the player with the fewest amount of points, Jack Clark. Last time you and I saw him, the kid couldn't miss and finished with a season best, like 29. Inbound to Furman. Beats the shot clock. Yep, it's been one of those days.
When they inbounded, the shot clock was at 3. And credit Furman, he knew that he had to catch that, collect himself, and shoot it. And, man, that bench went berserk.
Smiles all around the Siegel Center. He's going to stay at home. Next contest against Georgia Southern. Christian Furman, his second block. Manson looking for second chance opportunities. Can't get it to fall. McCord misses long.
Excellent block by Furman. And he'll be coming out of this game here momentarily.
Hill Jr. off the mark. Should be noted, Obi Okafor waiting to check the next dead ball. Christian Furman starting to take this game over, and he's now got double figures with 10 exact. And now subs will check on. And here he is, Obi Okafor, redshirt sophomore from Hampton, Virginia. First time see him on the hardwood tonight. On the other side, Maurice Crump, freshman from Burlington, New Jersey, checks in for Elizabeth City State.
Furman credited with 4 blocks in this game. He has been really active around the basket.
Yeah, 4 blocks make that for Furman.
4 blocks, and he sat out about 10 minutes of that first half after picking up a second foul.
Came today averaging basically, let's just call it 1.5 blocks per game. That was top 10 in the A-10, and that figure's only going up.
I think more often than not he's blocking, making blocks from the help position. And again, he's a great help defender. He rotates well. He's quick to the ball.
Foul on the floor. It's going to go against Maurice Crump. As Hill Jr. steps to the free throw line, I do want to just thank all of our sponsors here on ESPN Plus and Masson. Horseman Toyota, CarMax, of course, Virginia Credit Union for sponsoring. Virginia Credit Union assist the game. The Red Door guys. I want to say thank you for all that they do to help this VCU program, VCU broadcast. Whole 9 yards. It's the Rams.
I think the folks that stuck around in here, TJ, are looking for triple digits.
Rams lead by 42, and they're 2 points away from hitting the century mark.
Pressure continues.
Crump defended by Bell. Manson has help with Johnson. Just barely able to keep it in play is Sinclair. His first game played in the last 4 contests. Here's a travel. And we talked about this with VCU getting the chance to empty the bench, but now Sinclair, DNP over the last couple. We've gotten to see Vaughn, DNP the last 3, Johnson, DNP the last 2. So ECSU getting to do the same that VCU is.
Absolutely. And these guys, they bust their tail in practice. They deserve the run, the opportunity to play.
Jennings to Fats Billups. That one's halfway down and out.
1 minute remaining.
Final 60 seconds of action. 3 ball hoisted by Sinclair. No good. Hill Jr. It's been his second half in a lot of ways. And he puts the exclamation point on it. Gives us that century mark.
Yeah, emphatic. What a way to get to 100 right there. Nice job getting out on the break, and it looked like there was a foul early in the possession, but fortunately, Hill Jr. got out on the break and finished it in style.
First time this year, obviously, the Rams have hit the century mark. And you look at the last 2 wins, 7-point win against Miami. Yeah, they went 0-3 at the Charleston Classic, but I made this joke earlier. UConn and Dan Hurley would tell you that's just fine. There's nothing to be concerned about with that. But that being said, that's still a good Miami team. That's going to be a team that plays in the ACC.
It's a talented team. They're a little disjointed right now.
Right. And then you follow that up with 100 points. Yes, against Division II school, but still got to execute.
Yeah, and that Maui Class, you mentioned Hurley and UConn. That might be as good a Maui Classic as there has ever been.
Phillips got it to go.
And another turnover. And that's going to belong to the Rams. See if they don't just take the air out of the ball on this one. Cannot imagine that they'll take a shot here.
20 seconds on the shot clock. More than likely, I would have to say you're right, Coach Naki. It's been an 11-1 run over the last 2 minutes. And how about this from our wonderful ESPN Plus production crew? First time the Rams have eclipsed 100 in a decade. Last time they did it against the Maryland Eastern Shore Hawks 10 years ago. November 20th, to be exact, of 2014. So
that's
a decade and a week.
Yeah.
Not that we're counting.
You were 10 at the time, right?
Yeah, I was watching Joey Rodriguez and co. Which also, that's a big part of today. Like, Joey Rodriguez really was. I mean, just take this from the kid who was aged 10 through 14, watching him in Chesterfield, Virginia, 25 minutes away. Practicing some clutch free throws of my own against Wichita State. I mean, he really was a big pillar. I mean, Ed Nixon gets to call a lot of these games as well. He was a part of that 2011 squad. I talked about it earlier. It means a lot to the community. It's just a great story, and those guys are a big part of it.
I thought Joey had a great speech as well. You know, articulate and appreciative, and he hit every right chord with what he had to say. He had a huge family with him.
Absolutely.
That's great. The entire posse. And that will give you, when your kids see your jersey hung from the Raptors, that'll give you some street cred at the dinner table.
Of course, he's an assistant coach at FIU. They'll be next in action against Florida Atlantic on December 4th. But that's going to do it for this one here at the Siegel Center. A big W for the VCU Rams, 103-58. The final verdict. We're going to take a pause, come back, and recap this one here on ESPN Plus in Maston. Once again, Rams come away with the big 45-point W.